Hello to the one person who has been waiting. The things sound okay? I've got my heater running down in the bottom corner here, and I hope it's not too loud. Perfect. Thanks, Keith. Maxi Minis, hello, hello. I am warm in my little cocoon of a heated shop right now. Hey, Bradley. Hey, King Cat. Just waiting for people kind of get in here. So what's going on with everyone today? The US is the only place that does daylight savings, right? Uh-oh, Maxi Mini, did you have are you sick or is your Mini sick? Oh, that's a bummer. Well, I'm sorry to hear it. Hey, Stewie. 5 o'clock in the UK. Okay. Cleaning minis today. Oh, Canada does daylight savings as well. Well, it's kind of nice. I don't like the whole fall back kind of stuff, but this part of the year, you know, we spring forward and then I suddenly have tons of hours at the end of the day to do stuff while it's still bright. Helps me keep the lawn mowed, things like that. Hey, Dean. Hey, Jim. Message retracted, says Jim. "6 p.m. in Belgium, Germany, and France, Netherlands." Awesome, awesome. Are you all in the same time zone as the UK? GTA Mini 13, so you're doing a ring job on your Mini right now? I've actually got pistons out right now for this 998 rebuild that I'm doing. Check those out. Flat top pistons, brand new. The rods are original, but let's just take that plastic off. Check that out. Still dripping a little WD-40. Keep it from rusting too much. My interior, from Bradley, my interior indicator arrow isn't working, but it's working on the outside. It's probably just a bulb if it's working on the outside. Can you hear like a relay or a switch clicking? When you press the hazards, the bulb works. Makes me wonder if there's a relay in between the switch, the indicator stalk where you're actually choosing which way you want to turn the turn signal on, and the light bulb. You know, the hazard switch, what year is the Mini that you're having the problem on? 91. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that those minis have a their hazard switch. Everything goes through the hazard switch, if I remember correctly. If you shoot me an email, I've got a wiring diagram that another viewer shared with me when he was going through all the different electrical issues with those hazards, and I can share that with you. I think that probably help you. You can follow the lines and make sure everything is clicking, turning on when it should. Maxi Minis. 4 days ago I bought a Vespa from 1972. I'm not allowed to drive a car or ride a scooter. So you have a scooter but you can't drive it? I actually had it was a new Vespa. It was a 2011 maybe. It was a 250cc. It was one with the headlight actually sat down on the fender. It was a GTV 250 I think, or GTV 300, I forget. The DJSE, I have not seen that video yet. I have been really behind on all of my subscriptions. I probably have like 20, 30 videos stacked up that I need to watch. One of these days I'm just gonna sit in bed before going to sleep and just binge watch all the stuff that's been backlogged. But you're very welcome, and thanks for signing up for the giveaway. I am glad that you got those in one piece. I was worried about it because the postal service here is so-so. I'll just put it that way. Maxi Minis, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had it when I was in college, and then it ended up getting stolen, funny enough. I think somebody cut the bolt that I had it locked up to a post and just took it away. Bye-bye, scooter. So, do you guys want to see a sneak peek of where we're at with the 998 build? The DJSC, Cole, what's the worst job you've undertaken on your Mini? Mine was a mechanical fuel pump. Yeah, that fuel pump's kind of a pain to get to in the back of the motor there. I think you have to end up taking out the manifold and carburetors. Then you got to do all the fuel lines. That's all messy. I'm trying to think the worst job that I've done. I think somebody asked this on my last video and I was kind of stumped on that, because the really hard jobs all feel like the worst when I'm doing them, but then looking back, they're not that bad. I think the worst job was probably when I had to pull the motor because I lost oil pressure. And it wasn't bad because the job itself was bad, but it was bad because of the reason I had to pull it off. Let me switch this around. Oh, that's not the motor. So here we have the 998 build. So I've got the ARP head studs in. I am in the process of filming everything, so it's just a little sneak peek for you guys. The DJSC, this back here, the fuel pump he was talking about, this is actually the back side of the motor. So you got your tappet covers here, and then the fuel pump actually sits right down there at the bottom back of the motor. So as you can imagine, it's pretty frustrating to work on. And then we have stuff just taped off on all the sides. And of course on this side, let's see if I can get over there because this thing is not working. We've got the new, I forget the name of these right now, the caps for water caps, something like that. And then everything taped off on the other side of the motor as well. So it's all coming together. My giant cart full of mini parts that is currently getting all organized. It's not right now. Bring it over here to the Superfly new 1275 head. So we've got new seats, I think, if I remember correctly, we had new seats. These little teeny clips in there, those had to get replaced. The valves are original. They just had to be lapped and had to get the CD nice and tight again. Then obviously this was cleaned all the way up. Keith, so Paul Jeffries, what spec are you doing the 998 build? So the spec is, this is a 1275 head, which is going on that 998 block. And then the 998 block got overboard a little bit. I forget, I think it's 0.6 over. I'd have to double check on that. And then we had to clearance the valves on the block here, so you can see it's just a little etched in there so that the valves can open and close. But that is some info. Keith, to answer your question, are the core plugs the wrong way around? I don't know the answer to that. The machine shop did it, so I'm gonna assume they're correct, but maybe not. I hope they're correct. And then we've got all of our new pistons over here with the original rods. We're just gonna keep those original rods. And then over here, we have new oil pump, water pump, rocker assembly is gonna stay the same, main caps. Right here is the new camshaft. If you watch the part 2 video of the engine rebuild, I go into what that cam is and how it looks and everything. But long story short, it's an Elgin cam, fast road. It's gonna be nice and slick. And then we've got new clutch here. This is for a magic wand shifter because this is gonna be going in my friend's Moke. So he is going to take the transmission off of the Moke that's there now and put it on the bottom of this block here, just to keep it semi-original. Magic wand is gonna be fine. This motor's gonna rip. It's gonna be awesome. Maxi Minis, can you do normal drives in the Mini? Yes, I will. I will do that. I have been waiting. Let me show you. I think you probably saw my last live stream since you've been on quite a few of them. But this is my old valve cover, and from the front looks totally normal, like nothing's wrong with it. But I did some modifications to try and do like a PCV system and all sorts of other stuff, and to do that I drilled some holes in the side. Now the PCV system ended up not staying, too much moisture getting into the valve cover and maybe uneasy, but I couldn't plug these, so I have a new one coming in. And I've got a surprise for that new one. And I'm really excited to share that with you guys, but I can't yet because it's not done with the surprise. So, long story short, yes, I will do long drives. Yes, I will do a bunch of drives here coming up, especially in April, going to a store, or going to a, not a store, going to an event. And I'll be bringing the Mini, driving it. Lots of driving footage. Lots. Paul Jeffries, I'm a bit late watching this corp. I'm assuming you mean live stream? It's okay. I just started it a minute ago. The DJSE, so Cole, is it simply a case of taking a 990 head off and throw a 1275 on, or is it more involved? Yes, it is. It's a little bit more involved. Regardless of whether or not you overbore the engine, you definitely have to clearance the block for the valves. So the 1275 block expects a bigger displacement on these cylinders. So as you can see, whoops, let's see if I can get that in frame. But as you can see right here, it almost looks like I just etched it a little bit along the edge right there. But what's happened here is we clearance the valves. The valves actually need space to open and close in this block. So you can't just take the 1275 and toss it on here. It's a little bit more work than that. And then Paul, here are those plugs. If you take a look at those, I think that they look right to me. I mean, I know that there's like normally like a little inset or something, but if I look at the block in my car, they definitely look different than this. All right. Well, I saw that motor that you posted on my channel, so, or on my Facebook, so I trust your judgment. Stewie 935. What's the advantage of putting a 1275 head on a 998 block? More flow is the answer. So, arguably for these minis, I mean, obviously there's that old saying, there's no replacement for displacement, so bigger cylinders on the motor. But part of what makes the power in your car is flow. So the more flow in and out of those combustion chambers you can get, the more power theoretically you should have. So that's the benefit. Now it's a little gross outside, but I remember on the last live stream I did, you guys wanted to see my steering wheel, but I didn't really have a lot of time to show you guys that. Is there anyone who still wants to see that? Or I can show you other stuff on the car if you have any questions. This is your time to ask whatever. Yeah, Maxi Minis. My friend showed up and we only had a little bit of daylight left and we needed to go. Embarrassingly, it was not something that important. I was just going to wash cars, but needed that daylight. Shane Marriott, ever install a CAD quick shift? Tips on getting the locating pins out. So the CAD quick shift, I actually installed a quick shift, but I can't remember if it was a CAD quick shift or not. But I did it on a remote gearbox. So there wasn't any locating pins that I had to get out. It just was kind of like a bolt in, bolt out, you know. So I didn't have any locating pins to get out. I'm not sure what those are referring to on the rod change, if that's the box you've got. Are the raised front shock mounts worth getting? The raised front shock mounts. Are you wanting to go really, really low on your Mini? William Field, cool rocker cover on the pegboard. Yeah, this is my original rocker cover. It's seen better days. As you can see, it's all dinged up and stuff. I've probably painted that Union Jack on there 3 or 4 times, but it's turned into my, like, if I have to paint an engine or something like that, I put that on there so that I don't have to tape off the top of the head anymore. It is pretty cool though. I might switch back to it at some point. So, I have high-lows, so I plan on playing with a ride height. So, I've played with my ride height, it's gone down real low, and I've had it really low for a long time, and then I pulled it back up. I don't think that you guys need to have any sort of raised shock mounts. What I would recommend is switching to the lowered shock absorbers. So, there's a shock absorber that's made specifically to be on lowered cars. That's what I would pick up over changing the mounting brackets. And they don't look any different. Let's take a walk out here. It's so cold, you guys. I don't want to be out here, but it's all right. So I don't know if I can show you guys this. Let's see. Not quite work there. They're not really any different. It's just shock absorbers that are made for a lowered car. You do have to take into consideration the drive shafts. They get a little taxed when you keep it really low for a long time. I think it's less of an issue with CV joints, but with my U joints, they knocked and made noises. Stefano Rosso, ciao, hello, welcome to the chat. Should I say? I guess it's nighttime over there, so. Buonasera, is that right? Fernando, hello. Scoos Gregory. Hey, can I do, instead of the original rear brakes, some disc brakes? Yes, the only ones I know about though are the CAD set, which are mucho money. They are a lot of money. And so I don't know, you're not going to get a huge amount of benefit as far as stopping power. I mean, they'll be better, don't get me wrong, but the cost, what you're paying for is lightness. So your car is going to be considerably lighter without those rear drum brakes. Blake Davis, how difficult is it for bigger people to fit into a Mini? Do you need custom seat mounts? So don't know how to ask this without sounding like an asshole, but are you big wide or big tall? Because big wide is not a problem. I mean, you just get seats that can accommodate big wide. But if you're big tall, like me, I'm 6 foot. I used to be 6'1", but I think I'm shrinking. I ended up lowering the brackets and just bringing it down a little bit. It's definitely doable, like no problem. I have friends that are taller than me that fit in the car, especially with the seats lowered and down and back. I have a Gaz adjust shocks that I will be putting on soon. Okay, cool. So those Gaz shocks that you got, are they the lowered spec or just the standard spec? Because if they're the standard spec and you want to lower the car, you're going to have problems. You're definitely going to run into some issues. Stefano, C, awesome, yes. I'm totally Italian now. I can speak the whole language. I can't. I'm in my level 1 Italian class. My next class is tomorrow. But I'm very beginner. Shane Marriott, with my CVs, when it was too low, would grind aggressively at full lock turn. Be wary of going too low. Great information. Yeah, see, so I haven't had CVs, so I'm not quite sure all of the implications to that. But honestly, I ended up lifting my car. I tightened the shock, so I still don't get a lot of body roll. I mean, the car is so damn low already, so I mean, it's just like, it's almost not even worth it, in my opinion. Other people, I'm sure the internet would love to argue with that statement. Fernando, your sun dry is 1.95 meters. I am not sure what that is in freedom units, and he drives our Mini very well. So I'm assuming that's tall. So there you go, guys. All right, Blake, so you're basically the same ratio of height to weight as me. I'm like 6 foot and I'm right around 200 pounds. So I think you'd be fine. You just need to adjust the seat brackets a little bit. Oliver, let's see. Which 7-port are you going with? I got a Webcon on mine and it was lots of fun, of a custom fit dual valve springs with a 286 Kent cam. Yeah, so I'm looking at the specialized components one. I do want to talk about that in a little bit on the channel after I answer some more questions, but the specialist components, 7 ports, so full injection, full ECU, but just the head, you know, nothing done with the block. Stefano, my clutch is not working. The pedal goes down to the floor, the oil is full, but the cylinder is not working. Can I do some tests before changing it? Well, if the oil's full and you're pressing like that, you could try bleeding the brakes. That's kind of a symptom of air in your lines. So you might want to just go through each of the brakes, starting at the rear, move up to the front, and bleed each brake individually. So you start from the one farthest away from the master cylinder and work your way towards the master cylinder. My last brake video, I did a thing about bleeding the brakes. It's really wordy, sorry in advance, but yeah, check that out. If that doesn't work, it's probably the master cylinder, and they're usually pretty simple to replace. It's just kind of tough getting into the pin that holds it to the pedals. Bradley, thank you for your advice, Cole. No problem, man. Yep. Paul, Lawrence, they on point. So what else do you guys have for me today? Bring on the questions. The DJSC, Cole, if it wasn't a Mini, what would it be? It's between two cars. And I probably will get some of these cars, so I might be spinning up some other YouTube channels here pretty soon. Pretty soon is a generalization. But either a Cinquecento, a Fiat 500, an original one, not one of the newer ones. Although those new Abarths are pretty cool, I would probably not, probably want a classic one. That would be for my wife. She's always wanted an old one. And then if it wasn't that one, it would be one of the like 60s or 70s Nissan GTRs, the JDM spec ones with the mirrors on the hoods and that like skinny grille. Oh man, those cars just, they get my juices flowing. That's where it's at. Paul Jeffries, what induction do you plan for the 7-port head? So Specialist Components actually makes a kit for that 7-port head. It's a full throttle body injection system. I am just going to go with their whole kit. I mean, they make a really, really good looking product, and it's just, you know, the 4 intakes on the front. It's got a custom fuel rail on the top. It's got injection, it's got the injectors. They're not directly into the head. They're not directly into the injection chamber. They're still in the induction ports, but that's, I'm just going to stick with the whole kit and caboodle. Maxi Minis, it's not a question, but I'm so sad, I'm sick, I have a speaking exam tomorrow. Can you just like skip school tomorrow? I mean, you know, you're sick. Just stay home. That's what I do. It's been a long time since I've been in school though. George, do you know what length the rear wheel studs you are using with your spacer drums? I used to know that. I don't remember it right now. If you send me an email, I'll send you the ones that I have. It just take me a second to look it up, and I can send you the ones that I have. So, DJ, the Fast 5, did it have the old school GTR? Yeah, but it was heavily modified. I mean, it looked really cool. Don't get me wrong. It looked amazing. But I was thinking more stock, maybe a little bit of a drop, and maybe a wide body kit. I don't know. This is just dreams, though. Scoos Gregory, what's the height from bottom to the roof in your Mini? My Mini is from 1995, and I want to do a bucket seat in it, but in the moment it's covered in a barn. Yeah, let me measure it for you. Let me get a measuring tape out. So do you want to know the height from the bottom of the wheel to the top? Oh, the height in the interior. Well, I can tell you that it's about 49 inches from the bottom of the wheel. Give me just a sec here. Maxi Minis, how about an old Nissan 240Z? It's not really my jam. I appreciate them, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. So you're wanting to know from here to the top? Or the floor to the top? Floor top, okay. So we have 41 inches. I hope you're in the US. See you later, Maxi Minis. Hope you feel better. So Stefano, that the 6 clocks Incinetti Cooper dashboard will not fit, from my understanding, on the Mark 1 bodies. My dash has a lot more of like a curve in it than the later model minis do, so it doesn't quite work. Although I really wish it would, because I'd love to do something different. Yeah, see, excuse you, perfect. Wait, there we go. Okay. Which lowered shocks would you recommend? Let me take, I have a box of the standard ride height ones over here. I'm gonna take it out. I'll show you the ones that I got. Just get the lowered version of these. Show you. Alright, so these are the shocks that I would recommend, made by Gaz. I love these shocks. I've had them on my car for 3 years now, and just solid. They've got adjustable here. I'm pretty sure that they look a little different now. I think they updated them a little bit, but these are the standard ride height ones. So that means that when you compress them, they don't compress as far as the lowered ones do. So we get some expansion and then contraction, but it bottoms out right there. The lowered ones can actually come down more, which is why it's important that you get the right ones for your car. All right, let's put this shit away. Oy vey. A lot of heavy stuff. Alfie Brown, I am taking the engine out of my Mini in the next 2 weeks for a minor rebuild. What would you suggest changing as well? All the seals and oil pump? Let's see. Engine's coming out. It depends on your budget. You know, if the engine is out, I would recommend thinking about the things that are really difficult to do while the engine's in. So oil pump, camshaft, clutch would be a lot easier to do when the car's out. Let's see. Maybe the mechanical fuel pump, if you want to do something different, you don't want to use that pump anymore, it would be a good time to change that if you want to switch to electric. Yeah. And then seals, you know, it's a good time to refresh all the seals. That's a good thing to think about. trying to think what else. I think those are the big ones. If you do want to change your timing system, you can too. If you have dreams of switching to like a belt drive or some really, really light alloy timing chain and timing gears, that would be a good time to change it too, but it's definitely not necessary. That's more in the upgrade world rather than the maintain. Bradley Crandon, do you use a machine polisher on your paint? On my car outside, I have used it once or twice. Yeah, not against it. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to washing my car. I am hoping to get like a little electric pressure washer sometime this year so that I can wash it at home instead of those self-service car washes. And I might get a polisher at that point, but again, lazy, so much easier just not to. I do wax, I do clay bar it pretty often, and wax it, but I don't have a machine polisher, not yet. Paul Jeffrey says to do the diff seals. Yes, 100%, 100% yes. The diff seals are really, really good thing to change at this point. It's so much easier to do that while the car's out. Excuse Gregory, can you get engine capacity to 1400 instead of 1275? I think I've read some people doing 1410s. I think, but man, that I don't know. It seems it's definitely not a road car at that point. It'd be a race car. The part that I'm concerned about, I'll show you guys on this motor I have over here, is the sidewalls. So every time you bore the motor more, you are cutting into these sidewalls and cutting into the space here. So eventually, the section between these two cylinders is compromised. It starts to get thinner and thinner, and then you run the risk of having some sort of large engine failure. Stefano Rosso, low price polisher for bumpers, window frames, light rings, and some tips for polishing them manually. I have used like a chrome polishing stuff from Advanced Auto. I'm sure it's nothing fancy or anything. It was like $1 or $2. But you got like an emery cloth, wiped it on, let it dry, and then you came back out with a clean emery cloth and polished it off. It worked okay. Some people I've seen on YouTube and stuff have done like Coca-Cola and really, really like quadruple zero grit steel wool, and apparently that works. I'm a little too nervous to do something like that, but who knows. Excuse Gregory, is this a stock one? It was stock. It was a stock 998. So the block's a little bit different than 1275, but stock 998, and then we overboard it by 060. I have no idea what that brings it to. I'll let you do the math. Bring this back up here. Alright, Alfie Brown, thanks for the help. 1410cc would be a 1380 with a longer stroke, I think. Oh, that might be, yeah. And then Paul Jeffrey says 1400 is a 74 millimeter bore, very risky from a standard 1275 block, as the bore walls are really thin at that stage. So pretty much, yeah, exactly. That would be my concern as well. DJ, so once you overbore, do you need bigger pistons? Yes. Yes, you do. So generally what you do is, say you have this 998 system here, and you want to overbore it by however much, or you want to overbore it at all. Generally you get the pistons first. And then you spec the bore to the pistons that you have. So in this case, we had those pistons already, brought it to the machine shop, said, hey machine shop, look at this, can you make it overboard to match these pistons? And then you have to get rings for the new pistons to make sure everything seals up nice and tight. Excuse Gregory, can you get like 90 to 110 PS without boring the block And without turbo or supercharger? No, that's a little much. Edward, my sentiments exactly. So to pause on the questions real quick, one of the things I wanted to talk about in this live stream was the 7-port build. It's really close to being done. I think, oh, I was about to look at my phone, but my phone's what's streaming right now. It's got about 9 days left, I think, and we're only about 25% of the way there as far as the donations and the crowdfunding and everything. So this is like the final push, the final ask. If you guys haven't donated yet, or you're thinking about donating, this would definitely be the time. I am giving away the 1275 head that's on my car. It's ported, it's big valved, it's awesome. It's a great head, and paired with a good motor, paired with an overboard motor, you can get some serious power out of that head. But I can't give it away unless I do the 7-port build, and I can't do the 7-port build unless we can raise the money for it. So if you guys haven't donated and you're thinking about it, it gets you extra entries. There's lots of other cool little perks that are coming with it, like t-shirts and stickers, and like a custom Classic Mini DIY episode if that's for the really high value donators or high amount donators. So if you've donated already, maybe share with your friends, share with people who might be interested in donating. It would be really cool. If we don't raise the money, we'll go down that route at that point if we can't get the money raised, and I'll talk to you guys and see what you guys think I should do with the cash that we did raise, and see if there's another project you'd like to see me do on the Mini. Yeah, Edward, the 7-port, it's money. It's money. That's part of why I haven't done it yet, and why I can't do it if I don't get the money raised. But that's it for the 7-port build. If you don't want to donate directly or don't want to crowdfund, go through that whole process, you're more into the tangible stuff for money, I did set up a merch store. It's merch.classicminidiy.com. Lots of shirts, lots of really cool stuff on there. So if you want to check that out, there's some cool stuff, and I'm going to be adding stuff, really custom cool stuff in the very near future, like 2 weeks or so. I'm trying to get everything put together. Edward Isaac, can you supercharge a 7-port? Probably. Yeah. I mean, I imagine you probably could. That'd be some serious compression, but yeah, I don't see why not. So you got your intake ports on the front, and if you get like a plenum chamber on the front, you could probably put a supercharger on the side or something. Get creative. Multi-dopper, you can supercharge everything. That's true, but do you want to supercharge everything? This chair has gotten really squeaky. So what else do you guys have for me today? This is y'all's time to ask whatever questions you want, and or if you guys have ideas for new videos, something you want me to do, I saw someone already said, they want to see more driving videos, which I definitely would not mind making. I love doing driving videos. Is an oil cooler worth it? I mean, I have an oil cooler. I didn't really notice a difference, but at the same time, it's like that peace of mind. It makes me feel better. Even if it's just a placebo effect, it's kind of cool. So, I don't know. Is $100 worth it? $200 worth it to you to feel better and think something's cool? For me, apparently it was. Paul Jeffries, you can achieve a 1425cc by having a 73.5 millimeter bore and a crank stroked at 84 millimeters. Man, I bet that thing's a beast. That feels like Also kind of feels like a time bomb. I don't know. Multi-dopper, iron valve guides or bronze ones. I don't know which one of those is stock, so whatever stock is probably what we're using on this head. Scoos Gregory, do you think it's possible to do a 4x4 Mini? I don't know if you could do it on the stock drive unit, but I've seen people do VTEX, 4x4 VTEX, and that's pretty legit. DJ, Cole, a video on how a gearbox works would be nice, as I'm sure there are unicorns in there that scare the life out of me. Well, I have to be honest with you, gearboxes scare the mess out of me. They're basically like giant magic boxes. I mean, some of the stuff, I've worked on mine a little bit, and it was flying by the seat of my pants. I don't know that I could do justice. I don't know that I could teach you guys stuff about the gearbox more than like some basic piddly things. When we put the gearbox on this one, I'll do a little bit of like what I know, which is like this much, and I'm sure there's like this much to know about gearboxes that I just don't know. But I can do that. Edward Isaac, 4x4, check out the Project Binky search on YouTube. Yes, 100% yes. That is probably one of my favorite channels. They've been fabricating a classic Mini with a Celica 4x4 motor. Oh my God, it is so nice. It is so nice. And his fabrication skills make, it's artwork. It is. There's no other way to put it. Stefano Rosso, so the clutch and the brakes are in the same circuit. So why different oil containers, and why if I bleed the brakes my clutch should work? So did I say brakes? I might have misread what you sent me. Let's go out to the car real quick. I'll show you. All right, so Stefano, the brakes here. Brakes, yeah, that's my brake reservoir, that's my clutch reservoir, and they're two separate circuits. I must have misread your post before, but you'll need to, if your clutch is going to the floor and it's not working, you'll need to bleed your clutch slave cylinder, which is down here. And that can be bled. There's a nipple on the back, way back there. It's kind of a pain in the butt to do. DJ, they're little boxes of magic. They honestly are. Whatever engineer made these things is like, hats off to them, because they just blow my mind. Colmord, you can get pre-made subframes to suit the Honda B16B with some 4x4 manual gearbox and rear diff and drive shaft. There you go. So, but again, it's not the stock Heart, not the A series. That ends up being a whole new motor entirely. David White, what happened to the HIF 44? So I did that install video and the tuning and all that stuff, and then I decided that because 7 Mini Parts gave me that, I decided that I should pass that and kind of goodwill along, and I ended up giving it away to one of my viewers as part of kind of a I think it was my 5,000 subscriber giveaway. Edward Isaac, I just had to replace my slave on a Berto Clutch. Was a bitch. It is a bitch. They are, on the Berto Clutch, for those of you that don't know, the slave cylinder, this right here, gets moved down right here, and so your piston comes in and out right there to actuate the clutch. It's just a little bit tighter, more of a pain in the butt. Bruno Bodo, what do you think about a Weber 45? I think they're legit. I mean, it'd be awesome. I don't like how much like modification you got to do to the bulkhead in order to fit it in there, but in like a club bin, I don't know that you actually have to do any mods to the bulkhead to fit it in. Kelso, great channel. Thanks, man. David White, so are those HS2 or HS4s? They are HS2s. They're the ones that came on my car. So this motor's out of an Austin America. I think in the UK it was called an Austin Princess. But these are my dual HS2s that were originally on the car. And honestly, these HS2s, they're solid. They give me a lot of low-end torque. I've been fighting a tune on them lately. It's been kind of a pain in the butt. DJ, Cole, are you running twin carbs? Is there a lot involved in this? Once you get them synced, once you get it all tuned up, they're solid. I mean, they're great. But that process of getting them synchronized, getting them tuned, can be a pain in the butt. Like I said a second ago, I've been fighting it for a couple weeks now, and then obviously my valve cover is a pain already. So once I get that all set back up, I'm gonna do a tuning video, and to do that I'll probably take them off so I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Scoos Gregory, there are roll cages that they sell. It's like a company called Safety Devices. I think it's a US company, but Mini Spares, Mini Sport, 7 Mini Parts, depending on where you are in the world, there are lots of companies that make them. The one I've got in my car is from a company called Super Fast Minis. They make VTEC conversions on minis, and I won this at a car show a few years ago, and then I added this plate to add my 3-point seat belt right attached to that roll bar, and that's a Bolton roll bar. So if you're in Europe, then I would probably check Mini Spares or Mini Sport. They have, I'm 90% sure I've seen roll cages on their site, and they're built in. I don't think that there's any that sell for that are Weld in. So for people watching right now, I'm using a new like handheld gimbal. Is the video smooth? Like, I mean, I'm holding it with my hand, so it's probably not perfect, but did installing a roll cage do anything for your insurance rates? The US is kind of funny. They don't give two flying craps about what you do to your car on the inside, like dash cams, things like that. They base it on the car and what it's used for. So in my case, the Mini's registered as an antique, and because of that, I get to bypass a lot of like inspections and things. And then my insurance classifies it as a pleasure car, so I don't have to pay super crazy rates on it. Colmord, there are Weldon ones as well, at least on Mini Sport. So there you go. I thought they were all Bolton, but both, no matter whether it's a Weldon or Bolton, if you don't have a welder, obviously you probably want to go with a Bolton. And it's not too difficult to set up. They just bolt to the wheel well. And then you can get a second piece. So this one only goes into, why am I doing that through the window? Only goes on the back of my car, but you can get ones that extend all the way up front and down into the footwell right there. David White, I see. I switched to an HIF 44 after the dual HS2s. Felt like my engine was starved. So in comparison with the HIF 44, the HS2s are considerably less flow. There's no arguing that. I definitely agree with that. But it just felt like the right thing to do. Okay, well that door's just not going to shut right now. It just felt like the right thing to do, considering I got it for free. Lucky in Canada, they are considering the addition of a roll cage as turning your car into a race car. Huh, that's interesting. I definitely would have figured that it would have made the insurance rate go down just because it's safer. But what do I know? I'm not an insurance salesman, I guess. Paul Jeffries, the Clubman bulkhead is the same as the regular Mini regarding the bulkhead mods for a Weber 45 carb. A 6-inch manifold works very well. Never use a swan neck manifold as they don't flow well. Oh, that's good information. I don't know that I'd ever do a Weber on any of my cars. I think that they're really cool, and I definitely probably see some performance out of it, but it's just not for me, I don't think. It's dumb reasons, but superficially, I don't think they look that cool in the motor. Johann Otto Bolding Cruz. I hope I said that right. Where are your seats from? I bought them from Mini Sport 5 or 6 years ago, and they came in a big box straight from the UK. I think they're like Corbeau knockoffs. I don't think they're actual Corbauts. Edward Isaac, twin Webers on your 7-port. I have seen those right on the front here, like the but I think that Specialist Components setup, I think their whole layout for their injection system is a lot tighter if you go with their whole system put together. But I've seen those Weber carbs, and they're legit on the 7-port heads. Let's set that back up. Let's see what else. Daryl, good morning. What have you missed? Oh, just me talking, the usual. I was talking about questions, and then 7-port money raising, merch store, the usual. Stefano Rosso, also in Italy, you can't install roll cages on road cars, and also you can't put an unequal number of lights on the front, like 3 or 5. Really? That's really weird rules. Where do those even come from? Did the seats come with mounting brackets? I have brackets, but I need to figure out how to install them. They didn't come with them, but Mini Sports sold the ones that I needed in order to make everything work. Can't remember which ones I bought. You probably need to call them, talk to them, and see which ones they would recommend for your car. Also, it matters whether or not you have a Mark 1 or a later model Mini. Paul Jeffries, twin 1.5 HS4 carbs work really well, almost as good as a Weber, and no bulkhead mods required. Yeah, I think that if the Indiegogo doesn't work out, or I can't figure out a way to get the cash together to do the 7-port head, I might go down the route and see if you guys would be interested in me showing you guys how to convert to a dual carb system, and then I can show you how to tune a dual carb system as well. So we can talk about that, though. I'll bring that up on the channel and ask for some feedback from you guys before I do anything like that. I wish there was a way I could bring this in the car and bring it for a drive. My valve cover missing in action. Can't do that. So I do have a question for you guys. I've got my rear subframe, right? And when I was restoring the car, I must not have painted it using the 415 I used on the front subframe. My front subframe has no rust. It's great. It's been chugging along, no problem. My rear subframe is covered in surface rust, especially after this last winter, because I was driving and I got caught behind a salt truck at one point, and it just murdered the surface of that rear subframe. So I'm thinking about doing a pull on the rear subframe and then getting a whole restoration video on that. If you guys would be interested in seeing how to pull this rear subframe out of a car that's currently on the road. Paul Jeffries, are you running the standard gearbox when you convert to the 7-port? Yeah, I'm going to keep my remote gearbox. It's pretty stout. If anything, I might convert it to the CV joints. I've got the yoke joints right now, the U joints. I've been trying to get some feedback from people if you think that the power associated with the 7-port would be a problem for those yoke joints with the nylon cup system. But I haven't gotten a lot of feedback on that yet. What camera setup do you use for driving footage? I was thinking about getting a GoPro for that purpose. So in my car, I actually use my DSLR. I've got a big suction cup mounting system that mounts into it. I think I have it in the car. 2 seconds, let me grab it. All right, got it. So it's this, just 2 suction cups, mounts to the window, and then I can adjust this beam out, holds my DSLR at whatever angle I need it to be at, and then I can set up like a nicer microphone and everything, like the lav mic that sits on my my shirt. That way I don't sound like a machine robot when driving down the road. But if you're not doing YouTube videos, GoPro is totally fine. That works great. David White, my wife says the dishes aren't going to do themselves. Good luck, man. I have some dishes I've got to do as well, but I just say, oh, I have to do a live stream. Brunaboto, about the fuel pump, where do you install? Some say in the front, some say in the back in a performance way, but what is the best place? I don't know technically what the best place is. My fuel pump sits at my fuel pump, or at my fuel tank. So like fuel tank's at the back of the car and my pump is like right below it. And then I've got a filter regulator system. So I've got a solid state fuel pump. It's made by a company called Facet, F-A-C-E-T. And then I've got a regulator filter system. It's really big. I don't really like it that much. The fuel lines back there are really, really old and need to be addressed. So if I drop the subframe, or even if I don't, I'm going to be replacing a lot of that stuff. Might even replace the fuel pump as well. We'll see. Daryl, I have powder coated the subframes. Do you have local facilities to do the same? Yes. There's, I'm working with a friend of mine. I guess I will share a little bit with you guys. So up in the corner there, where my finger's pointing, is my old valve cover. And I'm gonna do some really cool stuff with him and his powder coating business with some valve covers. And I'm hoping to sell them on the merch store to you guys. If it's something that you're interested in. I gotta kind of go down that route and see if it's cost effective and I don't have to like charge you guys $1 bajillion for these valve covers because of how much it costs me to buy them, ship them, powder coat them, all that mess. Yep, Minisaurus says Bruno underneath the rear fuel pump. So yeah, or underneath at rear for fuel pump. Yes, that's the right place. It's easy to work on there too. There's already so much crap in the engine mini engine bay, and adding more stuff in there just pain. But adding a fuel filter in line in the engine bay isn't the worst idea if you don't put the filter underneath the fuel tank, because then it's easier to, that is much easier to address when it's in the engine bay. So I have been avoiding saying your username, so I'm going to try and say it. Mephiskafels6. You need a valve cover? I might be able to provide said valve cover. So you were saying that I was thinking about mounting side mirrors to the body seam just below the rain gutter. Thoughts? Whoops. I don't know. I don't have side mirrors on my car. I think it kind of gives the car a classic vibe. It looks like missing ears. I don't know. I like it. But I've seen those clamp-on ones. I've seen ones that get stuck in the windows. I don't think any of them really mount that great. So I'm not wild about it. Oh, it's Corey. Why? I feel like every time I talk to you, you've got a different username. I think I'm probably just going crazy. Colmord, I had my front subframe sandblasted and powder coated. Turned out really nice. I had to replace the rear one though. It was a bit crooked. Yeah, so thankfully none of my stuff is crooked. But I'll I'll probably just take it out and wire brush it down and then put the Pour 15 on it. The Pour 15 is, it's incredible. It's way strong. I mean, the front subframe's been in there for 7 years and it hasn't started rusting. And I drive my Mini a lot. Multi-dopper, Cole, your valve cover will have nipples for PCV. Not the ones that I'm selling won't. I did not do that quite the way I liked, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say no. But maybe I'll do some custom stuff. Paul, I'll message you regarding the diff drivetrain for when you fit 7-port head. Awesome, thanks. I would love to get some feedback, especially from you about the about that system. See what you think. Multi-dopper, were you in here when I showed the valve cover with the holes on it? Can't remember if you were in the stream yet. Daryl says, I'm rebuilding the 998, came across my first issue with bushings in the primary gear are destroyed. Have you replaced the bushings? In the primary gear of your transmission, I'm trying to remember if I've ever changed those bushings. I might have changed the bushings on my remote shift. It's been a long time since I worked on the gearbox. But if you have it out and they're bad, definitely something that you want to address now. A multi-dopper, let me share with you the valve cover and the way that it looks. So I took those nipples off and I was hoping I could fill them with little rubber grommets, but the rubber grommets kept just popping out. I think there was just too much pressure, so I've got hole, 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 hole. It's like Swiss cheese, this thing. So this is shot, unless someone wants it. So oily. Colmore, the rear one was extremely rusty for me as well, while the front one wasn't rusty at all. I wonder if it's some kind of problem. The rear ones rust more easily for some reason. Who knows? I mean, it's crazy. The later model Minis seem to rust a lot more than the early model Minis do. Like my Mark 1 seems to rust a lot less than folks who have like 80s and 90s Minis that I've seen driving around here in the US. Multi-dopper, no internal baffle. Not in the valve cover. I've got a PCV system, like an actual PCV cap that has the baffle in it, but it's external to the valve cover. Edward Isaac, mini oil leaks that keep the front subframes nice and greased. That's, you know what, there's probably a lot of truth to that, because it is certainly greasy. It's not rusty, but it's greasy. Charlie Span, hey from Central Texas. Hello, Charlie, from Charlotte. Minisaurus, Daryl, you'll need new bronze bushes pressed in. Yeah, so I was thinking that was the case, but I couldn't remember. You have to bring it to like a machine shop, and they've got a special tool that they'll press it in with to avoid like damaging it or anything. There you go. Daryl, if you need some, Paul's got some. Shoot him a message. Helping to make connections on live streams. I love it. Let's see if I can show you guys the rust. I want to see what you guys think about the rust on that rear subframe, and see if you'd agree with me about having to take it off. And I just can't get a good view of that stuff. Never mind. You're just gonna have to trust me, it's rusty. Edward Isaac, how long have you owned your Mini? So I bought my Mini about, it's maybe 8 years now. It's been a really long time. Might have been longer than that, might even be 9 years. Charlie Span, great Q&A, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm building a 63 pickup and need body parts, need a roof for sure. A roof for a pickup. I wonder, can you get those? Like as new presses? I'm not even sure. I'm not sure I've seen one of those. Multi-dopper, from what you've seen, it doesn't look that bad. I can assure you that it is very rusty. It's very rusty. You'll have to look at that brake video. It has a good look onto the side of the subframe. Corey, where did you get the LED bulbs from that you put in the dash? I got those from eBay, I'm pretty sure. There's two different kinds, so you need to take a look at your bulbs before you order them. There are screw-in ones, and then there are press-in ones. And let me see, I think I have some that I can show you. Yeah, I do. So here you have the original bulb, and it's got this kind of, I don't know what to call it, but the bottom is a press-in. So these are kind of an earlier style bulb, and they get pressed into the housings, and you need to find an LED bulb that has press-in bottom as well. So this is the LED bulb. See, you got your 4 little diodes there, and then your press-in bottom that just gets pressed in the same housing. They don't seem to work with every housing that I need it on, specifically the ones that are variable brightness. So like, okay, I don't have any variable brightness, so maybe that's not what it is. Well, they don't all work. Some of the stuff that is still using the original bulbs, some is using the LED bulbs. DJ says to pull it, and that you saw it in the brake video. Yeah, so you know what's up. Oh God, I don't want to pull it. I do. I mean, I do, but I don't. It still looks so much better. Everything will work better too. Ugh. Daryl, I'm not sure if that contact email was for me or not, but that's classicminidiy@gmail.com. Scooz Gregory, from which year is your Mini? Mine is a 1960 Mini with an engine out of an Austin, America that is probably from the late 60s, early 70s. Charlie Spin, you can't but could use a sedan roof and cut it down. There are almost no parts around Texas. You should call 7 Mini Parts because they're right up they're just west of you in California, and you're a lot closer to them than I am, and I bet you that they can help you source some panels. But you'll have to call them. It probably won't be on the website. I don't know that they have any roof panels on the website. Multi-dopper, where I live, there's those bulbs in LED in every cheap Chinese shop. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are just some cheap Chinese bulbs that somebody's selling on eBay. I'm pretty sure they came from China, actually. Minisaurus says that it needs painting with Hammerite or Rust-Oleum. Yeah, we don't have Hammerite here. I've seen that pop up on the forums a lot, but Rust-Oleum is something I could use, or the Por 15. There's all sorts of stuff. Colmord, what kind of speaker system do you have in your Mini? Could you show it quickly? Yes, I will show you, Colmord. Give me a sec here and take this back off of the thing here. So my front speakers are just kind of like garbagey speakers. They were like 20 bucks or something. They're not a zillion, not a zillion bucks. But the speakers up front are just basic Polk Audio speakers, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Oh no, they're Pioneer. Pioneer speakers. Got them off of Amazon. I mean, they were cheap. You can buy any cheap shit. It's $4, or 4-inch speakers on the front here, so you can get an idea of how much space you have. And then on the back here, I have my actual head unit underneath the seat in the back so that you can't be seen. It's kind of loose right now. It's also needs some work. And then in the back, I've got additional speakers. These are 6.5-inch speakers, also Pioneer, I'm pretty sure, or some like off-brand. And then I've got a thin Rockford Fosgate 10-inch sub in the back. This is the like really low profile, and I will say that this housing that I have on the back here is not like any sort of fancy like specific housing to get the right amount of airspace for the sub. It's literally just made to fit in the corner of the Mini there. I did a custom fiberglass enclosure for the Mini. And then, and then the sub and then the amp for the sub is right up there. And I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of flack about mounting the amplifier upside down and blah, blah, blah. But it's been working fine for 4 years now, and I'm sure it'll keep working fine. Bram, so you're saying that those LEDs don't work because you have to spin them 180 and switch the leads. So I have to tell you, I switched them, and I switched them, and they didn't work. The only thing that worked was putting the old bulbs back in there. But it was only for like one bulb, and I don't even remember which one it was, but I don't even notice it. DJ, yeah, I know. Everyone's like on and on about how awesome Hammerite is, but we've got other products here. I think that Pour 15 is probably the most similar to Hammerite here in the US. Kevin Shales, hello, welcome to the live stream. Paul Jeffrey says, Cole, if you need to pull the rear subframe, then coat the bolts that attach it to the heel board with WD-40 a few times for a couple of weeks. They may still break off, but undo then ABI. So, then do them up. I was like, what the hell does ABI mean? So the rear subframe, I put it in there, and I took it out of there. I remember it being a bastard. So I'm thinking this one probably going to be a bastard again. I have PB Blaster right up there, that one. And would you recommend WD-40 over that? Or is there any particular reason you recommend the WD-40? Daryl, what's your view on Project Binky? Oh, I mentioned this earlier in the live stream, but that is arguably my favorite YouTube channel right now. They have an amazing fabrication dude. I mean, that is, the stuff he does is artwork, and the whole project is just badass. I mean, I love concepts of like sleeper minis where you can't really tell that they're not stock until you like either open up the hood or you punch the gas and it like rips your eyeballs out through the back of your head. So legit. I wish that there was a way that they could upload more videos more frequently, but I totally understand why they can't. Kevin Shales, mini equal bastard. Yep, that could summarize minis in one short, sweet statement. I mean, I tell you, these things, as much as I love them, they're like Jon Snow. They're bastards, but we love them. Scoos Gregory says, I want to do a legal race car out of my Mini 1995. What do you suggest you do first? So do you want to pull the motor? And what motor is in it right now? Is it a SPI, MPI, 1275? I think all the 90s ones are 1275. Colmore, nice, thanks. I got an 80s head unit, which has Bluetooth, added to it. I thought you said it came with it. I'm like, mind blown, how? Speakers under the seat, interesting. That's a good idea. Oh, the kickboard under the rear seat. And then you're trying to keep it as 80s as possible since it's a 1981. Yeah, I mean, I don't really need to see the head unit. There, one of my viewers suggested a Kenwood amp that replaces the head unit entirely. You just get this little, like, controller. I mean, it's like the size of something small. Well, you'll just have to trust me, it's the size of something small that I can't think of, and it's awesome. You could put it right up in the front, you'd never know it was there. It has Bluetooth, it also has like USB for charging, and it would be totally stealth. It's probably what I'm gonna upgrade to because that head unit is on its way out the door. Edward Isaac takes fabrication to another level. Yeah, it makes some of the best fabrication look like child's play. My God. It also helps that he has a legit workshop. Paul Jeffries, WD-40 has always worked for me, but any kind of releasing fluid will be fine. Okay, cool. Mini Dopper, just saw your rib brake video. It's definitely rusty. Please give it some love. Okay. Gavin Gamble, happened to be up, just got your email, glanced at the clock, did the math to convert the time, and realized you were on. Well, hello, welcome from Japan. I know that you're what is it, like the middle of the night right now? So Scoos Gregory, if it's 1275 SPI. So I don't know exactly what you mean when you say you want it to be a race car. Are you wanting to just be you want it to be like a sleeper on the road? You want it to be stout, fast, or do you want to bring it to the track? Charlie Span, WD-40 is not penetrant oil. You can make the best penetrant oil by mixing acetone and Marble Mystery Oil. I guess that's probably true. Acetone would work really well. It would murder the paint, but it doesn't really matter if it's on the rear subframe that's about to get repainted. Dave Jaguar, oh, hey man, welcome to the chat. Thanks for the shout out. I'm really glad you like Max's mini collection. I feel in need of a Mark 1 or 2, but they're so expensive considering they were £465 when they came out. Yeah, I mean, I got my mini for $1,500 US. I bought it in Canada 8-9 years ago. So I mean, they're out there. You just got to do some searching. But yeah, I don't know. They're getting kind of expensive. Car Freaks 1024. What's your take on the Mighty Car Mods Mini? I like it a lot. I think the VTEC conversion is a cool conversion. I liked the supercharged Mini, I think, a little bit more. I was kind of bummed that they decided to nix that and go VTEC. But, you know, they gotta make content. I get it. I gotta make content too. But I don't think I think they should have done it to another car. I still think it's cool. And if it's his car, he's keeping it. And if it's what he wanted to do. You can't tell anyone that they're doing the wrong thing to their car if it makes them happy, you know? Kevin Shales, is it just the one Mini you own? Yeah, currently I only own one Mini. I have not a lot of space at my house, and I've got my Golf GTI, which I'm trying to get rid of. I am so ready to move on. Got my wife's Subaru, and I don't have a garage. I don't have a 2-car garage. I have like a 1.5, so I guess I could fit one more Mini in here, but again, it's not enclosed, and I'm just not ready to take on another project. You know, if I'm trying to crowdfund a 7-port build for this one, you know, it just doesn't make sense. I don't have the cash to do another project right now, but I do want another project. So in the future, it will come. Colmord, cool. If anyone's interested, got the head unit from Decked Repairs, DECT Repairs on eBay. He does awesome, really nice work and great service. Ships from the UK. Oh, good information. There you go, guys. Plug if you're looking for a like a period-looking head unit. Excuse Gregory, looking for more power, less weight, but still legal for the road. So you could do things like alloy replacements for top arms, control arms, The rear radius arms, if you want to lighten it. The rear discs, if you want to do that, but that's mad money. And then things with the motor are where you're going to see a lot of, obviously, your power gain. So, you know, bigger valves on the head, taking the engine out and doing a camshaft, getting a bigger high flow carburetor. That's a legit way to do it. You know, there's all sorts of stuff to do. But I think starting off, you might want to switch to a carbureted motor. They're easier to work on than the SPIs are. Not that they're really that hard, that difficult. 3:30 a.m. in Japan right now. Hey man, I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you joining in and everything, even though it is really late. Oh yeah, Paul says to look at the video of the Hill Climb Mini. That is a race spec Mini. That thing's legit. It's in my last video. Hey, Total Car Reviews. Hey Tom, thanks for joining. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Watching in style. You've got it so much better than me. Car Freaks 1024. What other old school cars do you like? I just picked up a 1969 Jag. I like old Jags, but I can't. I think I like the old Defenders. That's in my wheelhouse. I like trucks. I'm not really a truck person per se, but I like trucks. And then really anything European. Japanese cars are funky. I think they're cool, but it doesn't really get my juices flowing. Mostly British cars, which is a recipe for heartache and headache. More headache than heartache. Thanks, Tom. It was close enough, right? Close enough. Stewie935 says the best thing for road car would be to try and reduce the unsprung weight. I would agree with that. Working on a 1967 MGB. Nice. MGB GT, is that what I saw? Yeah, so you've got the fastback. My friend Justin, who has the Red Mini and the Moke and all that crap up in the north side of Charlotte, he's got an MGB GT that is not at his house, it's at his dad's. His dad was a long-term British mechanic here in the US, so that's why he got into minis and how he learned everything he taught me. Paul Jeffries, I'd love to meet up with you, Cole, and Tom. You speak classic. Yeah, man. I'd love to meet up. Paul, I'm assuming, are you in Europe? I totally forget. I'm so bad at remembering things. Oh, you're thinking about doing an MGB GT for your next build. So you're wanting to keep it in the British car family and rust, heartache, and oil? Paul. Yeah, I am terrible at typing on touchscreen devices. I'm a web developer and I literally type for a living, but when it comes to like a tablet or a phone, it's just out the door. Forget it. I mean, I look like a toddler. My Mini now has Kevin Schill says my Mini now has a new front end and other panels since I had a slight roll. How does one have a slight roll? Did you roll or did you not roll? That is the question. Yeah, put a V8 in the MG. Yeah, that's where it's at. V8 rear wheel drive monster. Oh, hey Tom, if you're still in here, where's my Team Slaphead shirt? I have not seen it in the mail. And I'm not going to send you a Classic Mini DIY t-shirt until I get my Slaphead t-shirt. And I'm getting closer, as you can see, right around here to the bald head. So I'm pretty much going to be on Team Slaphead here pretty soon. I don't see any comments from Tom. He must have bailed out. Kevin, that's the mini that's causing that. Yeah, I mean, there's just, it's all the times I keep bumping my head on the bottom of the car because I'm underneath it so much. My hair's just like, I'm not going to grow there anymore. I'm just giving you crap, Tom. I thought that you bailed on the live stream right as we were asking you about t-shirts. Gavin Gamble says, I had a coil spring break in half on me 2 days ago. Luckily it was messed up front and I am lowered. It happened on the way to the shop so I could replace my ball joints. Like a spring suspension, your spring broke? That's crazy. I can't even imagine it, but that was loud. Scoos Gregory says, why not putting a 2-rotor rotary engine in it instead of an SBI? If you can fit a rotary engine into this engine bay, I will personally fly out and take it from you. Tony Watkinson, hello. It is going well. It is going well. As you can see, the live stream has been going. I don't know if it's in the corner over here for me, but we've got it going for 91 minutes so far. You guys have listened to me jabber on for 90 minutes. Total Car Review says, haha, I'm trying my best, mate, but time and money and project needs prior. I totally get it, man. Totally get it. Spinning up that merch store, man, it took some effort. And by effort, I mean money. And money I did not have. So hopefully we can keep that, hopefully I can keep that rolling. Dave Jaguar says, why can? What? 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 Total Car Review says, the initial outlay for the shirts is mental. What does that mean? Dave says, I can't do the live chat thing. I am a techno wally. Hey man, it's all right. Gavin says he heard a clunk, but had one turn left, got it up on the lift and was pulling the first ball joint to get the towers out, see if everything was okay. And when half of it fell out, man, were the springs in your car already? It was not cones in your car? Expensive. See, you gotta use basic US understanding. You put yourself in an American's shoes who doesn't understand anything, and then use simple short words for me. I mean, otherwise it just right over my head. Car Freaks, I saw it come through. I'm on my phone right now live streaming, but I saw the little pop-up, so I'll take a look at it after the live stream finishes. Kevin Shales says, the other engine that you are building, Cole, what's that for? As you only have one mini, and how's the funding going on the 7-port? So Kevin Shales, that motor, I'm just gonna switch to it so you guys don't have to look at my face anymore. Boop. Well, there we go. So this motor is for a friend's mini Moke. He's got a 850 in there right now with a magic wand, and he's going to take this 998 block that he had lying around that had overheated in a previous life and overboard it, get it all set up to be a stout little motor, and it's going to go in his Moke. So his Moke's already crazy light. This thing is going to, I mean, that car is just going to rip after this thing's put in there. And then to answer your question on how the funding's going for the 7-port, it kind of stalled out at the at 25% right now. I'm struggling to get people to jump on board for that final 75%. We only have 9 days left, so I'm really hoping that we can get some more donations in. Otherwise, we're going to have to figure out something else to do with that money in a different project. Gavin Gamble says the previous owner did the upgrade. Yeah, I mean the cones are solid. You know, they were the original piece and they work. I'm surprised that the spring broke. It makes me wonder if they were a set of like aftermarket springs that were not up to spec or something. Maybe they bought something that wasn't great. Total Car Reviews, thanks for joining. I will see you guys. I'll see you later, and I'll be looking for my shirt. Don't think I'm letting you off easy. If there's a hub adapter for the NRG steering wheel to a Mini, I have no idea. Maybe? I've not used an NRG steering wheel before, so I'm not sure if they have something to make that compatible with the Mini. I would think so. Dave Jaguar 66 says in 1959 when the Mini came out, how many ashtrays were in the car? Oh man, you're testing me here. Okay, so I think it's 3. I think there was the one in the center on the dash and then 2 in the rear door pockets. I think that was all of them. Unless you count the exhaust pipe, then there's 4. Tony Watkinson says the whole car was an ashtray then. Yeah, I mean, they did smoke a lot in the late 50s and early 60s. So, I mean, every time you hit a bump, it would make your car, make a new ashtray in your car. Paul Jeffries says there were 3 ashtrays as Alec Izagonis was a chain smoker. Yeah. Every picture I think I've seen of him had him smoking in it. I can't think of any photographs without it. Stevie935 says, would you ever consider doing an engine conversion? If so, which one would you do? Depends on what I'm using the car for. I have thought about this. In fact, I thought about it before thinking about going down the 7-port build. If I swap the motor for a road car, something that I would drive on the regular, I'd probably do a Honda VTEC here in the US. If I was overseas, I might do like a Vauxhall motor or something like that. But that would probably be what I'd do. If it was a race car, I would put a Yamaha R1 motor into it, 100%. Scoos Gregory says, I say bye for today. Thank you for your answers and good evening. Have a wonderful evening and thank you for joining the live stream. Kevin Shales says, with regards to the 7-port, what fuel system are you thinking, carbs or injection? So Specialist Components does an injection system with a custom fuel rail, injectors, the whole kit and caboodle. In this case, I'd be doing the injectors. I think it'd be really cool to do an injection system. Not really done a lot of work on an injected car, and it might be something, it would be a new learning experience for me. So obviously it's not a standard injected car with some normal ECU, but Dave Jaguar asks, why was the Mini invented? I'm pretty sure it was invented to be a family car, an affordable family car for the British masses, and I think it was in response to the Fiat 500. I think the Fiat 500 came out a little bit before the Mini. Cole Moore says, great stream as always. Got to go now, but we'll check out the rest of the stream tomorrow. Cool, man. See you later. Minisaurus says, for a fuel crisis in 58 and 59. I did not know that. I did not realize that there was a fuel crisis in the UK during that period. There was a fuel crisis in the US in the 70s, I think. Oh, you know, the Suez Crisis. I didn't know about this until, you guys probably gonna, I'm gonna lose some points for this, I think, but I was watching The Crown and it brought me down this avenue of learning all sorts of stuff about that time period and the issues with the Suez Canal and all that mess. So, interesting stuff. I know a little bit about French history and US history, and then a little bit about European and Roman history, but not a lot about much other places. So it's always cool to learn that stuff. Competition for the BMW bubble car. The thing that Steve Urkel drove with the door that opened on the front, with the whole wheel would move with it. What was that car called? God, I can't remember the name of that car. Can't quite place it. But I said it. See, all that was coming, I knew it was an I, and the only thing I could think of was Isagones, because we talked about it earlier, and then that's just what kept popping into my mind. But I think I am going to go ahead and wrap up the live stream for today. Do you guys have any other questions you want to ask me before I check out? Last chance. All right. Well, I really appreciate everybody who's here for joining the live stream today. It was a lot of fun. I am definitely going to be doing that in the future, doing this in the future. As you've seen, I've done a lot of live streams already. Got some questions here. I won't wrap it up just yet. Go to Google and type in French military. I'm feeling lucky, and see what comes up. It comes up, Victor. Let's see here. I said I only had space for 2 people. Tony Watkinson, to answer your question about the Golf and not a beefy Mustang V8, I don't like muscle cars. That's not my thing. Everybody has a muscle car here. Like, everybody has a Mustang here. You drive down the road and you can see like at least 14 in your drive to work. And there are some legit muscle cars, don't get me wrong. They're super cool, but not my thing. I drive a Golf right now because I wanted fuel economy and I wanted it to be quick. The Golf GTI is quick. But the next vehicle is going to be a Toyota Tacoma. Not really a truck person, and they're really big, but I want to be able to tow my Mini like across the country, go like long events, and driving a Mini for more than like 6 hours, it makes me tired thinking about it. And then the truck, I own a house here, so like all of the yard work, everything like that, we get mulch and rocks and things all the time, so it just kind of makes sense. Multi-Dopper, Cole, have you challenged a Mustang with your Mini just for fun to see what happens? Yes, I have, and I can tell you that they win. The Mini is not that fast. The Mustang just smokes the Mini in a straight line. But remember, when we get to those mountain roads, just can't beat us. We're the best. Dave says, Cole, you're a legend even though you're not old enough. Man, I really appreciate that. That's really, really kind words. It means a lot coming from you. So I think that I've got a lot to learn, but I just try and share what I do know with people when I can. So thanks for those kind words. Really appreciate that. Paul Jeffrey says, keep the live streams going, Cole. I'll message you about the diff change. Perfect. Looking forward to that email. But I am going to sign out. That's it for me today. If you haven't checked out the Indiegogo, see what that all's about, I have links in my description of this video. Check out the merch store. Lots of cool shirts, stickers, all sorts of stuff. All the money goes straight into currently the 7-port build, but when the 7-port build is done, or we don't do that, or we do something else, it's going to go straight into the channel. And I'm going to be adding some really, really cool custom bespoke stuff here in the near future. So check it out. Yes, points, fingers. But that's it for me today. And I will see you guys on the next stream. Actually, it'll probably be the next engine build video because that's what's coming up next. See you later, guys.